Hi, this is Katie with craftingwithkatie.com, and today I'm doing a little project making some quilled flowers. They're daisies, and I'm using the Cuttlebug Quilled Daisy Kit, and I just made one. This is what it looks like. I'll be adding some leaves, but I made some pattern paper with my Imagine, and I'm going to show you how I went ahead and did that. So what you get with your kit are these embossing, actually dies, that you have to run through your Cuttlebug. And so you need some strips of paper. So what I'm going to do is cut a double-sided strip of paper to make my different petals. So I'll show you that on my Imagine. Okay, here I am with my Imagine More cartridge. And what I'm going to do is look for a long, narrow rectangle. The reason that I'm on this cartridge is that there are some yellow patterns that I liked. I want to make a yellow flower now. So when I looked in the handbook, I saw some borders that look like they might do the trick, and this was the one I was thinking of. But I want it to actually just be rectangular shape, not the little bumps on the bottom. So I'm only going to want this part. So to get that, I need to click on the Layers button and hit Apply. And then you'll see all the layers are there, and I'm just going to backspace and delete the layers that I don't need. Click back on this one so I can edit it. And when I was playing around, I saw that 1.6 inches true size was going to work well. And so I'm just going to choose the pattern that I want and apply. We'll go to next, and there it is. So I wanted something that'll really fill up the space, because what's going to happen is I'm going to print only on this side, but then when I go to flip over the other side, to get it to line up correctly, if I just had it on part of it, it wouldn't overlap, because when you print on the other side, it's going to be coming from the other direction. So I'm going to go to Settings, and I'm going to change this to Print Only, and then I'll cut it after I print the other side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and print this. So here's the printed pattern, and what I'm going to do now is just lift up my paper and flip it over, aligning that at the top again. And when I go ahead and print it again with another pattern on the back and I cut it, it's not going to line up exactly front and back, but that's okay, because I only really need for this, it's about 1 inch by about 9 inches, so it'll be fine, it'll work great. So I'm back at the mat that shows what the project preview. And I'm just going to change this to a different pattern. I'm going to keep everything else the same. And I'm going to do the polka dot one. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And now I have to go back to the settings again, because right now it's on print only. And I have to change it to print and cut. So now when I run it through, it'll print that and cut it out. I went ahead and cut it, so let's see how it came out. Perfect. So even though on the back there's this white, it's really not going to matter, because we'll have the die right in the center. So I made, the reason I did the paper double-sided is you'll see when my final project, but this is going to be in a little pot, and you can see the back also, so I didn't want white on the back. And then what I'm going to do is print the same double-sided pattern again, and that's what I did on this one too. And I used one side for the smaller petals and one for the bigger petals. When you use these quilling dies in your Cuttlebug, I think you're supposed to have the longer plates, which I don't have. So you can see this is not quite long enough. But I've figured out a way to do it without having to buy the longer plates. So what I do is I'm going to place the die on here, and then this is from trial and error. I discovered it worked the best if I taped this down, because you can only go through with the smaller plates, you can only cut half of the paper at a time, and then what would happen is this die would shift and it would never line up again. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on here, and I'm going to do it on the sides too. Alright, so, and then I'm going to have, so I have that one with the polka dot side up. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the little gingham pattern side up. And that's going to be for the bigger die. So I'll put this right here. Again, we'll just tape it down. So if you've never used dies with your Cuttlebug before, the sandwich you do is you start with your A plate, then you use the C plate because it needs to be a little bit thicker. Then you put your die with the paper on top, so it's going up. I'm going to do this side first. And then you add another B plate. And so you can see this one is so scratched up. I always use this one for the top when I'm doing dies. So I'm just going to go ahead and run that through. There we go. And it's a tight fit. And then once it comes off, you can see it cut half of it. So I'm just going to slide this down and then I'll run it through again. And I will get a little bit of a crease in the center, but so far I've noticed with the flowers you don't even notice because they layer up pretty well anyways. So you can see then you just have your strip that you're going to use for quilling. Let me just pull this off. And we'll just pull this through. So I have on one side is the gingham pattern and the other side is the polka dot, but it's kind of funny now that it's cut. It pretty much looks the same on both sides, but that's okay. The main thing I wanted was that it would have the yellow on both sides so that it would really stand out. So what I might actually do is use this for, I might take this off. No, I'll leave it. But I might make two different flowers and use yellow with another color. So I'll look back. But when I come back, we're going to work on putting a flower together. So what I ended up doing for the other petals was making a double-sided red and white polka dot paper using the same technique I did before. This pattern is from the Imagine More Cards cartridge. So now I'm ready to start quilling. And the first step is to take one of the strips, the long skinny strips, which I quilled earlier, because I'm trying to find that die. Here it is. You'll see it makes 4 of these strips, and I only need 1 for each flower. So I have 3 left over. And then this little tool, this quilling tool, comes with the kit. And it's got a slit right in the middle, so you just slide your paper into the slit. And then you carefully roll it, and you just make sure that you're all lined up really nicely. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll this. So when I get to the end, I just put a little bit of my Scotch Quick Dry here. It's a little extra more than I need. That's okay, so it dries clear. And then just hold it for a moment to just let that dry. And then the next step will be to roll this on, then I'll do the other yellow one, and then I'll finish up with the red. And I'll fast forward all of this, but you'll see when I get to the red, I'm going to put glue all along. Okay, so now you just pull the quilling tool off, and to be honest, this is only the second day that I've ever done quilling, so I really don't know if I'm doing this right, but it seems to work. And then you just have to pull all of your petals down. Isn't that cute? So I just pull down the bigger ones, and then I go with the smaller ones. And then the quilling kit actually comes with some stems, so I'm going to just poke a stem through the hole here. my other one stayed a little. I might have to put some glue on that. And my next step is going to be to make some leaves. So the last thing I cut with the Cuttlebug were the leaves. That was another die that was included in the kit. And as you can see, I again used my technique with the Imagine to cut out a green gingham pattern from the Imagine More cartridge. I just went ahead and cut a rectangle with that pattern and ran it through the Cuttlebug, and it cut a bunch of leaves for me that you can see just attached with a little bit of glue to the bottom. So that's how that looks. And to put it all together, I had this spool that was from a paper tray ink button twine. I ran out and I thought the spool was cute, so I saved it. And then I just went ahead and cut some more of the red and white polka dotted paper from the Imagine and wrapped that around, adhered it with some Scotch Quick Dry. And I took some Harvest Gold ribbon, that's the yellow from paper tray ink, put some of that, and then just added a button and some rustic cream button twine. And so you can see the flowers all fit inside here. Very cute. And there it is. I've got my own little flower pot. Thanks for watching.